6 movies were done about Jason before I started. So everybody around the world knew the character just by that first name, Jason. So when I was in the position to possibly play the role, I felt like, wow, this is huge. First of all, it's a huge honor. Whatever I do, I have to do the character justice. I have to put my heart and soul into playing this guy. Whether some people think, oh, it's got to be easy. You have a mask, you don't have to do anything. If people think that, they're mistaken, because it's harder to be scary when you can't use your voice or your facial expressions. So I approached it that way, thinking that I have to do whatever I can with my body movements to make the character scary. And, that's how I went about it. I said, whatever I can do to put into this character, that's what I'm doing, because I don't want people to say, he didn't do it. He didn't do it right. So I did whatever I could to make it work. It's a little bit misleading because they've used the term Expendables of horror, and I don't think they should, because I think that's it's a little misleading, because to me, Expendables of horror would be all of us in the movie throughout the film. But it's not that way. What it is my character is, throughout the film quite a bit, but all of the other horror personalities that are in the movie are cameos. So they're just in briefly and out. And I think they're running a risk of alienating some fans by using that term. But that being said, it does have an amazing cast. So many of my friends, it was fun to work with them. And it was in an amazing location. The director and the cinematographer were great. Harrison, and I always forget the cinematographer's name, sorry. But if you could look it up and reference it somehow. He was really very talented with making things look so cool with the lighting. That's an art. Lighting in itself is an art in filmmaking. So it's an interesting story, a great location, and some pretty cool characters. And from an acting standpoint, I'm the head of the prison inmates, so I'm a bad guy, but really, really a bad guy. And from an acting standpoint, it was challenging, because towards the end of my scenes, toward the end of the film, I came up with what I thought, and Harrison agreed, that my character needs to be completely hurt, and I mean hurt in a way that I've been betrayed by people that I trusted. So that kind of incredible hurt, but enraged anger at the same time. And that's a little bit hard to pull off, to be yelling and enraged, but still show that you're incredibly hurt by what has transpired with people that you trusted. So I'm really happy with how the scene felt, and Harrison said it came out really good. So it was, granted it was a bad guy, but that doesn't mean you can just walk through it. It's a bad guy like I played before, and just try not to do it. Try to do something different with it. And that's why I love the challenge of acting now. Never, 15 years ago, if you had said, do you think you'll ever like acting as much as stunts? Nah, not a chance, because I love stunts. Well, not the case. Now that I've really gotten into the art of acting and not just saying lines, building a character, giving the character nuances that may or may not read on film, but could help with the delivery of the dialogue, that kind of stuff, extremely challenging. And I'm 61 now, and I'm working as much, if not more, than I did when I was just doing stunts. So I feel very fortunate, because most stunt people my age are now retired and not working at all. And now I'm still doing just as much, and it's completely a different challenge, and I love it. When Gun Media contacted me and said, we're doing a video game called Summer Camp, and we'd like you to do the motion capture for the killer, whose name is not, specified. I said, well, that sounds familiar. I'd like to do that. And I signed on with them. Then they got Tom Savini involved to help create. Then they got Harry Manfredini on board to do the music. Then with that group of people, they approached Sean Cunningham, who owns the licensing for Friday the 13th, and said, look, this is the game we have. This is the people we have. Let's make it Friday the 13th. And Sean said, well, you know what? You got these guys together. You seem to be doing it the right way. He gave them the name, not gave them, but made a deal to make the game Friday the 13th, which, of course, made everything go through the roof. Now that it's actually Jason, Friday the 13th, most of the animation of Jason is going to be the Part 7 version, which was my favorite. And Wes from Gun Media said, in my opinion, you're the guy that should do the motion capture for Jason, when he first approached me for that character. And then when it became Jason, he says, well, now you see why you were the only one I wanted to have involved. And I felt very honored, really, because I'm not the only guy that played Jason. And some people like other performances. But I felt honored that they thought I should be the one to do it. And we did the motion capture back in January. And, it was amazing because, first of all, I'm wearing spandex. Hard to be scary wearing spandex. But I got to remember what I'm really going to look like. So I just approached it the same way. I just did things the way I would do them if I had the whole makeup on. And I hired 2 very talented stunt people, one to be all the female victims, one to be all the male victims. Tara Page is the female stunt person, and Ryan Statz is the male. So anybody that gets killed, it's always them. And I had Rick McCullum, my buddy for 35 years, we've been working together, there to help with the stunts. So it was a different look to me, but again, just like I said before, even though I was hesitant when I was asked to do Jason X in space, I thought, well, I'll just make Jason consistent what he's been before. So regardless of the setting, it'll still be Jason. So that's the way I approached the mocap. I said, well, regardless of what I look like, I still have to be Jason the same way I always have been. And we recreated some amazing kills. We, of course, brought back the sleeping bag, my favorite Jason kill. And, I tore my tricep on one of the last days of mocap, but it was worth it. It's really going to look good. But and maybe this is just my ignorance about video games, but I didn't realize that they had the capability of me standing on the mocap stage wearing spandex, and I could look over at a monitor facing the stage and see myself already animated as Jason Part 7. So whatever I did while I was standing on the mocap stage, I could look at the monitor and that was Jason doing it. And maybe that's a common occurrence, I don't know, but I didn't expect it. So that made it a little easier. And plus, sometimes I put the hockey mask on just for my own performance. And we just tore people up and did some stalking, and you can play as different versions of Jason, which is going to be fantastic. You can play as Jason or as a victim trying to escape. So it's going to be very involved, very amazing. And you know about the Kickstarter thing they did. I personally felt that it was just more to involve the fans, because I think they had the, the budget pretty well set, but they wanted to involve the fans more, which I think is a great idea. Plus, we were able to do some extra things with the extra money, but they wanted a certain amount of money, and it went way over. So I've never seen a Kickstarter. I watched it when it first started. In the first 5 minutes, they got $75,000. 5 minutes. I've never seen a Kickstarter with the numbers constantly changing. Usually you see it and it stays there for a while and then it changes. But they were constantly changing for the first few hours. So, but I'm just very, very happy to be involved in it, and I think it's going to be finally the game that everybody's always wanted. So there's a couple answers to that. My dream villain to play in a movie would be to put that hockey mask on one more time. But short of that, because you guys know that I wasn't ready to stop playing that character. It wasn't because of me being done with it. I was replaced and never given a reason. So the first answer would have to be I'd love to do that one more time. Play Jason one more time. But short of that, always wanted to play Michael Myers. Because I obviously played Jason. I did stunts as Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. I had played Freddy's hand in Jason Goes to Hell, so that counts as doing one Freddy shot. So the only one of the big four that I really haven't played in a film is Michael. So number one being Jason again, but then a close second would be to play Michael in a Halloween movie, because I always loved that character. So that'd probably be the main thing. I'm not done killing people yet. I like playing other characters, but I'm not done killing. Tagline here. This is just a little promo. Remember what I said. If you want to stay in shape, choke motherfuckers. Hard. Just like I'm going to do these guys when I'm done here.
All right.
I'm going to choke the fuck out of these guys. They're going to be sore and not being able to breathe well. So anyway.